I transformed the Gloommeadow Biome in the new Honeyglow Woods into a sprawling castle estate for Eeyore. This build was inspired by one of Eeyore's early quests. I'm not going to spoil anything, but let's just say that Sir Eeyore now lives under a bit more than just pile of sticks. So if you want to build this cottagecore castle, let's get onto it. To begin with, I'm jumping straight into building castle walls on this large section of the Gloom Meadow. I'm using the Night Castle wall bundle from the premium shop. It made an appearance in the shop a few times before, and if you still don't have it, I highly recommend it. This bundle is one of the best value items you could ever find in a premium shop. I have already used it in multiple of my builds, and I absolutely love it. When working on a castle layout, it is always easier when starting with the entrances and the taller towers that usually go in the corners. And the small wall pieces will be useful to fill those gaps in the walls. I decided to make corners of my castle around it and add a lower mossy stone wall wrapping around with foliage behind it, similar to how I built Merida's castle in Storybookville. For the corners, I'm using the smaller castle wall pieces with windows because they have a surface to add smaller decor like candles. And the crumbling castle wall sections placed in between at an angle will help to assemble the wall without gaps. There still will be some small gaps, but they will be mostly covered with the foliage later. And I also did spend some extra time to limit any gaps. It takes a few tries sometimes to pick the exact rotation and placement of each piece to make everything snap together. Also, adding the strips of pathing can help to align the wall pieces on opposite sides. In the center of the castle, I placed Eeyore's house with the chime arch and added another wall section around it. Now, when entering the castle, I see him all the time wiggling his tail right here next to his pile of sticks. For the castle floor, I'm using the alpine cobblestone path, and I'm going to fill the rest of the area inside of the walls, only leaving smaller gaps for foliage. Gloom Meadow has these blue, pink, and purple flowers on the ground, and they actually end up peeking through this pathing. Next up, I'm continuing the wraparound lower wall that will be repeating the path shape going around the castle. In the back corner, I added the woodland pavilion, which was a main blueprint in this biome. In the front section of the Gloommeadow, I will be making a small town center and a path leading to the castle front entrance. Here in the middle, I placed the snug honey pond from the premium shop, old windmill, which was another large blueprint on the map, and I'm also using two pine pond glades from the foliage section in Honeyglow Woods. Behind the castle, I will have a path leading up the ramp towards the Braveheart Grove, where Piglet lives. I added the bookish golden pergola and few trees to mark the corners of the main path, making sure to leave access to the mining nodes. I'm starting to lay out the base of the path with this new driftwood craftable paths. I wanted to go in a natural shape around the pond and split out towards the castle entrance and another path going across the bridge where we can play poo sticks. This snug honey pond in the middle was added as a pairing for the beekeeper's cottage. I actually didn't end up using it in my drowsy bloom acre where I have a build with beekeeper's cottage. Instead, I wanted to use it for this natural build with the flowing organic shapes and lots of foliage. I am continuing the same wood-based path across the bridge and around the castle walls, leading towards the Braveheart Grove. There are a couple mining nodes on this side of the biome, so it would be easy to take this path for the mining route. After I was happy with the path curves and the main shape, I'm going to add a few smaller trees to start making these large foliage clusters along the path. And a few more trees, making sure there is some space left for the underbush foliage. On the side of the town square section, I made the wooden wall using the vertical ranch beams to cover up some of that glowing honey. It was getting a bit too distracting and I just wanted something a bit more natural looking. Now I'm starting to add a few medium-sized decor pieces around the build to bring in some of that cottagecore castle aesthetic. On the opposite side of Eeyore's house, I'm making a great hall for all the knights of the valley. I used the banquet table pieces from the storybook Veil to make a curved long table with a blossom tree in the middle, and added an assortment of chairs around it. Kind of like a King Arthur round table, but if it was Christopher Robin playing knights with Winnie the Pooh and friends. To continue the pathing design, I'm adding the actual path underneath the wooden planks. Initially, I started with alpine cobblestone path, but it ended up looking too busy, and I wanted to go with something more natural and foresty, so I will be swapping it for the muddy path. I was drawing the path, trying to repeat the shape of the wooden path that I have already placed, but I will be tweaking it as I go to fit the wooden planks in the center of the path underneath. This driftwood path can actually be easy way to mark any paths going around the biome as a guidelines to lay out the actual path. But in this case, I still wanted to keep it for that natural layered look. It also has these pretty yellow flowers on the planks, which are actually glowing at night. By the end, it is going to look like you're walking through the medieval fantasy forest. Now I swapped to the muddy path and continued it further after the bridge, all the way towards the exit. I'm also having this portion of the path going under a few chime arches. It's one of my favorite crafting items in this expansion. I think it is perfect for a natural foresty build, and it is making such a lovely sounds that you can also turn off if it's too much. After finishing the main path shape, let's start bringing the foliage to fill that empty spaces underneath large trees and around the ponds. I did use the new bush from the Gloommeadow, but it has a pretty large footprint. So I also included bushes from Drowsy Bloom Acre, Bush Blossom Ranch, and the Forest of Valor bushes. To blend everything together and create this dense greenery coverage, I'm using the beach grass. I wish Game Loft already added recolors of this grass because it is the only foliage item that can be layered, and we desperately need some variation. And just because I don't need to worry about the item limit on this map, I will go ahead and make the edges of my paths extra decorative. I'm layering Forest of Valor stone clusters and Plumeria flower path, following the edges of all my paths. The nice thing is that the driftwood path has a pretty forgiving footprint, which allows it to slightly overlap with stone clusters. Then I'm moving to the foliage around the castle walls, using the same type of bushes, and adding some extra decor around the entrances. I already placed some haunted armor as guards and oil lamps near all the doors. The pathing section behind the castle is getting the same treatment with the rock clusters and flower petals along the edges. I think this is my favorite thing about this build, to be able to add so many details to really bring everything together and to go on a full fantasy theme with this biome. By the end, I think I only end up with less than 2,000 items in total, and I only decorated 2 out of 4 biomes so far. With a total 6,000 item limit in this expansion, you could really go so detailed with your decorations. You can cover the entire biome with the plumeria petals if you wish so. As a final part of this build, I want to add some more details inside the castle itself. I'm using a lot of Winnie the Pooh furniture items to furnish the interiors. There are no really defined rooms, only individual corners, and the space been split into main areas. Here is the list of items used in this build, including most of the items from Winnie the Pooh collection and craftable furniture and decor from Honeyglow Woods Pack. And here it is, our finished castle for Sir Eeyore the Grey, a noble donkey of the Honeyglow Woods. I really love how this area turned out. I wanted to create something that would fit the color scheme of this biome, to have a lot of greenery and water features. It has this soft, more muted cottagecore atmosphere with a lot of green and blue hues. Very different from the drowsy bloom acre with Winnie the Pooh's house and all the warm green and yellow palettes. I decided to do a walkthrough during the nighttime to showcase all the illuminated details in this build. You can notice all the little yellow flowers on the driftwood path, emitting soft glow and sparkles. And a lot of Honeyglow craftable furniture covered in the same glowing flowers, making everything to look cohesive. I especially enjoy the contrast between blue grass, green foliage, and yellow accents here and there. I think this fantasy theme fits this biome very well. And using a wall building kit like a night castle, you have a lot of creative freedom to build something unique for Eeyore, because he deserves a lot more than just a sad pile of sticks. This expansion keeps bringing more and more cozy and nostalgic vibes, and I'm really enjoying decorating these new biomes. I'm planning to decorate the next area for Piglet, so stay tuned for Braveheart Grove build in the near future. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed this cozy speed build and that it gave you some inspiration for decorating your Gloom Meadow. If you want to see the Drowsy Bloom Acre build, I will link it in the description below. And subscribe to not miss the entire series of decorating the Honeyglow Woods. If you liked the video, consider leaving a like, and I will see you in the next one. Bye everyone!